If you are involved with a woman who possesses a double life, that life is not hidden in a separate apartment or a second job schedule. It is housed entirely within the palm of her hand, shielded by glass and protected by a biometric lock. The smartphone is the modern black box of fidelity, containing the unedited, uncensored truth of a person's priorities, their immediate attention, and their true availability. For men seeking stable commitment, ignoring the blatant red flags that emanate from a partner's phone behavior is not optimism. It is strategic self-sabotage. When loyalty is questioned, the phone is the only reliable witness. When commitment is genuine, transparency is natural. I am going to walk you through the absolute, undeniable patterns of phone behavior that, when combined, scream that your partner has either already emotionally or physically disengaged, or is actively maintaining options that preclude genuine commitment to you. This is not about being controlling or insecure. This is about recognizing the fundamental, observable shifts in female psychology and behavior when the primary loyalty is diverted away from the established partnership and channeled into digital validation and external attention. We are looking for dissonance. We are looking for the discrepancy between what she says she wants, stability, commitment, you, and what her actions demonstrate she truly prioritizes, secrecy, immediate gratification, and the maintenance of external approval. This is pattern recognition, backed by the undeniable reality that modern technology has made infidelity easier, faster, and far more deniable than ever before. You must elevate your standards of digital transparency because her phone is the single most accurate reflection of where her true emotional investment lies. The female mind, when seeking to maintain options or initiate disengagement, requires emotional distance and compartmentalization. The phone facilitates this perfectly. She can be physically present with you, watching television, eating dinner, lying in bed, while being psychologically and emotionally intimate with others miles away. This phenomenon, which psychologists are starting to call digital shadowing, destroys intimacy faster than any physical affair because it removes the sense of shared reality. The phone is the boundary she erects between your shared life and her secret life. The thicker and more rigidly enforced that boundary is, the higher the likelihood that what is being protected is destructive to your relationship. Think about the specific social media platforms she guards with extreme paranoia. The digital landscape is an abundance marketplace. If she is consistently seeking validation or maintaining communication that she actively hides, it signals that she views your relationship not as the destination, but merely as the present convenience or security stop, while she continues to comparison shop or manage external sources of self-esteem. This isn't theory. This is happening right now in your city, on your street, across state lines and national borders. Tell me, where are you tuning in from? We are building a global community dedicated to seeing the truth clearly, regardless of geography, because these dynamics transcend culture. Now, let us establish the foundation for the specific behavioral red flags. We will begin with the primary protective behaviors, moving through the signs of shifting priorities, and finally addressing the specific communication tactics that confirm infidelity. The first category of flags relates to physical protection and obsessive secrecy. This is the foundational layer. If she is disloyal, the phone becomes an extension of her identity that must be fiercely protected from your sightlines. This is the most primal and instantaneous flag, yet men consistently ignore it, rationalizing it as female eccentricity. A disloyal partner treats her phone like a limb. It is constantly in her hand, often slightly angled away from you, or, most critically, it is always placed face down on every single surface. The face-down policy is not a gesture of respect. It is a tactical defensive maneuver. Why? Because the content of that notification risks revealing the nature of her hidden communications or priorities. If she is receiving a message from an emotional connection, an active dating app, or a logistical reminder related to an unsanctioned meeting, the screen must be hidden to prevent the 3-second flash of truth from ruining her carefully constructed performance of present loyalty. Furthermore, observe her reaction when she momentarily separates from the device. If she leaves the room, even for 2 minutes to use the restroom, does she take the phone with her? This obsessive proximity is directly proportional to the volume of secrets the device holds. A man who understands pattern recognition will interpret this correctly. The phone is not merely a communication device. It is a repository of information that, if accessed, would immediately trigger conflict and consequences. She takes it everywhere because the risks associated with leaving it exposed for even 30 seconds are higher than the social awkwardness of carrying it into the bathroom. The physical behavior is often accompanied by an aggressive, almost territorial defense of the charging location. This removes the casual opportunity for you to pick up the device and see the lock screen notifications, which are often the most telling indicators of who dominates her recent communications. She is systematically removing opportunities for casual, accidental discovery, and this preemptive defense mechanism is evidence of a calculated effort to conceal. When a text comes through, does she immediately snatch the phone and turn away from you to check it? Or perhaps she minimizes her interaction, checking the notification, dismissing it quickly, and returning to the conversation with you, but not before a flicker of internal processing crosses her face? If she is talking to you and a notification arrives, and her attention immediately breaks off, her eyes dropping to the screen with palpable eagerness, it means that the source of that communication takes priority over the conversation she is having with you. If she then physically manipulates the phone, perhaps scrolling up the notification bar just enough to read the content without unlocking, and then clearing it instantly without showing it, that is a tactical information warfare maneuver. She is confirming the identity of the sender and the content of the message, ensuring it is not urgent or threatening enough to require a response right now, and then instantly removing the visible evidence. A loyal partner will simply read the notification and either mention it, "Oh, that's just my friend Jen about the movie," or ignore it openly. A disloyal partner uses speed, physical blocking, and immediate deletion, or clearing, of the notification to ensure you never gain the context. This rapid, secretive handling of incoming information shows that she is managing external communication streams that must be hidden from your operating environment. If she cannot look at the notification openly while sitting next to you, the sender or the content is incompatible with the relationship she claims to be building with you. If a woman is comfortable and loyal, her phone rings, chimes, and generally makes noise. It is a functional part of her life. When she starts communicating with people she needs to hide from you, or when she is receiving high-volume communication that she cannot explain, the sound must be eliminated. This forces her to maintain continuous, hyper-vigilant physical contact with the phone. It needs to be on her lap, under a pillow, or tucked into her pocket, so that she can feel the alert before you hear it or see the screen light up. The auditory notification is a risk factor. The tactile vibration is a secure, private signal. Look for the subtle, sudden movements. The twitch when the phone vibrates silently in her pocket. The quick glance down at the hip. The immediate extraction of the phone to see who it is. They must be able to receive urgent, secret communication without compromising the cover story that they are fully present and focused on you. The intensity of reliance on silent mode is a direct measure of how critical it is for her to receive messages without your awareness of the volume, frequency, or timing of those external contacts. They are not anecdotal quirks. They are trained responses to the need for operational security, driven by the psychological mandate to keep a secret life protected from the main relationship. Ignoring these foundational physical patterns means accepting that your partner has built a digital fortress of privacy designed to exclude you from her truest priorities. The commitment you seek requires transparency, stability, and trust. If the cornerstone of her communication behavior is secrecy, paranoia, and physical defense of a device, you are not building a partnership. You are managing a controlled environment that is designed to fail. We are only scratching the surface of the 12 signs, but already the foundation of secrecy is exposed. The only way to win in this dynamic is to possess absolute clarity. Hit subscribe now, proving you prioritize truth over comfort. Hit the like button to signal to the algorithm that this brutal, necessary honesty deserves more visibility than the fantasies sold by mainstream relationship counselors. In the comments, type this phrase, confirming you recognize the threat. I see the screen. Do it now. The journey through these 12 signs is just beginning. You will learn the exact steps to identify the other 9 catastrophic flags that define infidelity, ensuring you are never blindsided by a digital deception. Stay tuned, because the deeper we go, the clearer the picture becomes. But those initial markers were just the low-level warnings, the early indications that the operational landscape had changed. They represented carelessness, a temporary lapse in her focus, or perhaps a hopeful belief that you weren't paying close enough attention. This is where she stops being casual about her boundaries and starts being calculating about her concealment. We are dissecting the behavior patterns that define infidelity as an ongoing, managed operation, not just a momentary mistake. Before we break down the next layer of operational security she's deploying, I need to know, you are watching this because you recognize these patterns in your life. You are processing this information that challenges the comforting lies of modern dating. Tell me, where in the world are you recognizing this essential truth right now? Drop the city you're watching from in the comments below. The fifth red flag in her phone behavior, the one that screams infidelity not as a possibility, but as a certainty, is the sudden, aggressive implementation of the digital nuclear option, the mass, strategic deletion or archiving of message threads. We are not talking about deleting an embarrassing photo or clearing out spam texts. We are talking about the removal of entire histories, because she has crossed the line from flirtation to commitment with another man, and that commitment inherently generates evidence, a timeline of affection, planning, and intimate details that cannot be easily explained away. The risk of discovery, even during a casual glance at her phone, increases exponentially when the volume of incriminating content grows. The anxiety generated by this stored digital evidence becomes unbearable, leading to an aggressive cleanup. It often happens immediately after a significant confrontation or a near-discovery event. She might have accidentally left her screen unlocked. You might have seen a name pop up that caused suspicion. Or maybe you simply asked too many specific questions about her whereabouts the night before. This moment of acute fear triggers a survival mechanism, the immediate necessity to eliminate all risk. She isn't deleting messages to clear up space. She is eliminating the trail. What is particularly insidious about this tactic is that it shifts the burden of proof entirely onto you. Once the evidence is gone, her defense is simply denial. What messages? You're being paranoid. And because you lack physical evidence, your reasonable suspicion is instantly reframed as a character flaw. You are insecure. You are controlling. You are lacking trust. This is the calculated manipulation of digital gaslighting, forcing you to doubt your own pattern recognition based on her manufactured digital scarcity. A woman operating with transparency leaves the history intact because her past communications align with her expressed commitment to you. The moment the digital history becomes something that must be constantly managed and purged, you are dealing with a partner whose primary operational goal is concealment. Moving to the sixth critical red flag, the implementation of the low-context communication shield, the sudden shift to using only single-word responses, emojis, or vague affirmations with specific contacts, or across a new messaging platform. In a healthy, connected relationship, texting serves as a bridge, a consistent stream of mutual investment that reinforces the emotional bond. Infidelity, however, introduces a devastating cognitive dissonance. The communication with you, or even with her existing circle of male orbiters, must now be minimized, sterilized, and rendered information-free. Watch for the frequency and depth of her textual interactions. This isn't laziness, it is psychological resource allocation. She cannot afford to invest genuine emotional energy into peripheral or risk-generating conversations, because that energy is being saved for the excitement and depth she shares with the object of her new attention. Furthermore, this low-context shield ensures deniability. If you see a thread and ask, "What were you talking about with John?" she hasn't lied about the content of the text, only about the emotional significance of the interaction that occurred off-platform, perhaps in a hidden app, or during a carefully planned phone call when you weren't around. You are seeing the manifestation of emotional withdrawal in real-time digital architecture. When a woman is fully present and invested, her communication is rich and detailed. She is using the phone as a tool of logistical necessity, scheduling, confirming, denying, rather than as a tool of intimacy. And when you notice that the intimacy has entirely evaporated from her texts, you have confirmed that the intimacy has been relocated. This behavior bypasses the digital realm and enters the domain of body language and physical defense mechanisms. It is the immediate, almost reflexive adjustment of her body and the device whenever you enter her proximity or shift your gaze toward her. The rapid rotation of her wrist, angling the screen just enough so that only she has a direct view. The constant use of her non-typing hand to hover over the device, ready to smash the power button or quickly navigate away if necessary. A transparent partner doesn't require physical barriers to use her phone around you. She might not want you reading her work emails or personal banking information, but she doesn't recoil as if the device contains classified state secrets every time you walk into the room. This shielding behavior fundamentally damages the feeling of shared space and intimacy. When you sit next to her on the couch or across the table, and she is constantly manipulating the device to ensure optical security, she is sending a signal that there is a part of her life that is not only private, but actively hostile to your observation. This hostility is the energy of deceit. It consumes your casual environment, transforming moments of togetherness into surveillance zones. This is the physical toll of her secrecy, and you should view the elbow tuck not as a habit, but as a deliberate, calculated firewall against accountability. Let's dissect the 8th red flag, a crucial escalation in the strategy of concealment. The strategic deployment of hidden or burner applications, often disguised as mundane utilities. In the past, this meant separate burner phones. Today, it means the strategic use of applications designed for stealth. We are talking about highly specialized vault or security apps. Look for apps with generic icons, a calculator, a small clock, a simple file manager, or a note-taking application.
But when a specific passcode, often entered via the calculator keypad or a specific gesture, is used, the application transforms, revealing a hidden, encrypted partition where she stores conversations, intimate photos, videos, and possibly login information for dedicated social media accounts used exclusively for her parallel relationships.
The discovery of one of these dedicated concealment apps is the final, undeniable confirmation that this isn't a lapse in judgment. It is a meticulously planned and maintained second life. This investment in high-level digital security demonstrates a profound commitment to deception. Furthermore, consider the social media landscape. Does she maintain 2 distinct profiles, one public, sanitized, and dedicated to the appearance of stability, and another private, set to friends only, where she interacts with her new interests or maintains her roster of potential replacements? The second account won't show up on your timeline or your standard friend searches. It is a carefully managed sandbox for relationships she is testing out, relationships that exist entirely outside your accepted relational contract. It requires research, installation, setup, and consistent maintenance. It indicates that the infidelity is not a symptom of boredom, but a deliberate, architected choice. The emotional damage caused by the discovery of such a calculated deception is far greater than the pain of a simple, admitted transgression, because it reveals that her core character, her integrity, has been systematically repurposed for deceit. These red flags, the history purges, the low-context communications, the defensive body language, the installation of digital vaults, do not exist in isolation. They form a cumulative, reinforcing system of self-protection. She is optimizing her life for secrecy, and when secrecy becomes the primary operational requirement of a relationship, the relationship is already functionally over. You are simply waiting for the inevitable moment when the two worlds collide, usually on her timeline, not yours. It is designed to equip you with pattern recognition skills so acute that you immediately recognize operational deceit disguised as normal modern behavior. The cultural narrative attempts to normalize every aspect of this. The phone shielding is privacy. The deleted texts are clearing space. The hidden apps are just for work. We reject that normalization. We deal in demonstrable behaviors and the psychological motivations that drive them. We are defining the new reality. Suggest a powerful phrase in the comments right now. Let's name this phenomenon. The men who understand these patterns are the ones winning the long game by maintaining their resources and avoiding expensive, emotionally draining traps. Hit the subscribe button now. Acknowledge this essential truth by liking the video. We break down the final 4 terminal signs, the behaviors that signal the point of no return, the absolute digital indicators that your contract has been violated and that extraction is the only viable strategy. That crucial knowledge is waiting for you immediately. We have charted 8 definitive shifts in her phone usage, 8 crucial indicators that her digital life is no longer aligned with your shared reality. But those were just the seismic tremors. We are now standing directly in the epicenter. These final 4 red flags are not merely concerning. They are the psychological and behavioral pillars of a parallel existence. If you recognize these patterns, you are dealing with a woman who has already emotionally exited the relationship and is now managing the tactical execution of her departure, using her phone as the ultimate control center. Before we tear down the final walls of her digital deception and arrive at the definitive conclusion, tell me exactly where you are focusing on this vital truth right now. Drop your city name, your location, right now in the comments. The 9th red flag in her phone behavior is what we call the vault mentality, a level of digital lockdown that moves far beyond simple privacy. It is an excessive, almost frantic obsession with controlling access to her device. She implemented biometrics, fingerprint scanning, facial recognition, the moment you started dating seriously. You might argue this is simply a modern security measure, but watch the frequency of security checks and the severity of the consequences if you accidentally touch the device. She constantly clears recent app lists, browsing history, and notifications manually, ensuring that no lingering trace of activity remains visible for even a millisecond. If you happen to pick up her phone to simply check the time or change the music, her reaction isn't a casual request to put it down. This frantic digital sanitization reflects a deep-seated fear of exposure. The intensity of her defense mechanisms is directly proportional to the gravity of what she is hiding. This isn't just about privacy, it's about active data suppression, and that is the logistics of ongoing deception. This leads us directly to the 10th flag, weaponizing the phone to manufacture distance and cover. She starts initiating sudden, intense, and often baseless arguments right before times when she knows she needs unrestricted phone access or physical solitude. She creates a crisis because a crisis justifies emotional withdrawal. She will invent a massive, complex argument about your lack of support, your character flaws, or your inability to commit. She will create a fight so emotionally exhausting that the conclusion is a mandated separation. I can't talk to you right now. She uses the phone to escalate the fight, often sending demanding texts, then uses the resulting tension to justify ignoring your later attempts to reconcile. You, the committed partner, are left stressed, seeking reconciliation, and entirely distracted from scrutinizing her actual activity. The 11th red flag is the sudden, deep knowledge gap, a phenomenon rooted in cognitive dissonance and the mental exhaustion of maintaining multiple realities. Infidelity requires a massive mental commitment. She has to keep track of 2 sets of conversations, 2 narratives, 2 emotional worlds. She starts forgetting things you definitely discussed: the name of your new colleague, the date of an important family event, the details of your recent weekend trip, or even conversations about major household decisions. She exhibits genuine confusion when you reference something you specifically spoke about just days ago. Why? When you point out this memory failure, she often resorts to gaslighting, denying the conversation ever happened, or accusing you of having a bad memory. This is not simple forgetfulness. It's evidence that the primary operating system of her brain is currently running the parallel relationship program, leaving severely diminished capacity for your shared life. The constant need to check her phone is sometimes not about receiving a message. It's about needing to quickly reference a conversation thread to ensure she doesn't slip up and confuse the 2 separate narratives she is weaving. Finally, we arrive at the 12th red flag, perhaps the most psychologically revealing, the post-coital phone rush. Observe her behavior immediately after intimacy, after the moment of supposed ultimate connection and vulnerability. For the woman who is checked out and leading a parallel life, the moment of physical closeness with you triggers a deep, urgent need for psychological detachment. Her very first move is to reach for her phone. She scrolls social media, she reads texts, she starts messaging almost immediately, interrupting the natural intimacy curve. This behavior screams 2 things. Second, it signifies an acute discomfort with the genuine intimacy she just shared with you. The phone is her psychological barrier, her escape hatch. The phone is the leash that tethers her to the life she truly prioritizes, and she snaps back to it the moment your required duties are fulfilled. Let us now conclude the diagnosis. These 12 red flags are not isolated incidents. They are parts of a unified system of operation designed to maximize external options while minimizing the risk of exposure to the primary provider, you. When you see her holding the phone hostage, manufacturing distance, suddenly forgetting key details, and prioritizing her screen over post-intimacy connection, you are not dealing with a woman who is just slightly distracted. You are dealing with a woman who has mentally checked out and is actively running the logistics of her exit strategy, using her phone as the essential tool for managing deception and parallel dating. The cost of ignoring these 12 patterns is immense. You become a resource to be managed, a problem to be circumvented, rather than a partner to be cherished. This entire exploration is not about teaching paranoia. It is about establishing pattern recognition. But the patterns written in her phone behavior are the objective evidence that overrides subjective hope. Trust the patterns, not the promises. The time and energy she dedicates to protecting that device, the energy she spends in communicating with external validation sources, reveals exactly where her emotional loyalty lies. It is often not with you. If this conversation gave you the clarity to articulate those subtle, uneasy feelings you've had about her phone behavior, you need to mark your place here. We are taking a stand against the delusion that modern dating pushes onto good men. In the comments section right now, tell us which of these 12 red flags hit the hardest for you, and write this phrase exactly. I see the pattern now. This is our declaration. And because you understand the immense value in recognizing these truths, the truths that mainstream culture desperately hides from you, you must ensure you never miss another piece of this vital information. Hit the subscribe button and click the like button on this video. Do it now, not as a favor, but as an investment in your own future and your own peace of mind. We have much deeper ground to cover, especially concerning the strategies required to protect your financial and emotional resources when these patterns emerge. Next, we pull back the curtain on the most dangerous lies modern women tell themselves, and you, about why they need to leave, even when they have nothing logically to complain about. The next piece of knowledge is not optional. It is essential armor for the modern man. You do not want to miss the deep psychological dive we have prepared. Stay tuned.